Damn this thing. Properties. Hit OK. Transition.
Oh, real quick.
Hey.
Before you already started, didn't you?
Yeah, we're live. And we got an intro that I was cursing through. Can you hear me?
Nice. I
Okay.
hear you perfectly.
Nice.
Hey, are we live? We're going up?
We are live. Welcome to the Catch on Fire podcast, everybody. I gotta turn my mic way the fuck down. Yeah.
Wonder what you were doing over the weekend. So, how's everyone doing? All right, good?
Yeah. Yeah, Aries acing your classes. I've solved a technical problem that's existed for as long as Tektronix.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie.
Everything's great.
As soon as you said I solved, my heartbeat jumped because I really thought you were gonna say, Aries acing all her classes, and I solved a murder.
I might have, Rob. You don't ever know.
Yeah, you never know.
Detective Dick Butt is on the case.
Hey, but yeah.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so you ready for the docket? The
roster. Yeah.
roster? Well, before we start, I already mentioned this to Alex, but this is pretty exciting stuff, and I really hope Alex and I get to go to this event. But I just wanted to shout out there.
We're running through the logistics here real fast, are we?
Well, yeah, kind of. So about a year ago, I heard about this. There was a podcast show that I watched called "The Last Podcast on the Left," and these guys are, they're getting millions of downloads a day. I mean, these are some big podcasters, and they went to a place called DC Podfest. So I googled that shit, and I was like, "What is this?" But it said nothing about it. It said it was like a previous event, but there's nothing coming up. So I was like, "Oh, fuck it." Then recently, I was at work, and I looked up. Was looking up stuff on Instagram, trying to get our name out there, and someone said that they just went to the Jacksonville, Florida, podcast festival. So I was like, oh shit! So there are these things. So come to find out, the week that I'm in Baltimore, there's a podcast festival in Philly, and even better, it's free. So So I did a little bit more research. So basically, they have up and coming podcasters, ESPN, a whole bunch of different channels that are doing. CNN's going to be there, a whole bunch of things.
Oh, I want to meet Jake Acosta.
And but yeah, so they're having like it's just like a hall. You go in the hall, you sit down. They do lectures. They talk about marketing. They talk about how to grow your podcast, and then you can network out there. So trying to push Alex to go to this event. I don't know if you're sucking dick or you're spitting.
Well, my mom didn't raise a quitter. Let me start there. But networking is nothing but a gigantic circle jerk of everybody just reaching to the left and getting the next guy and just jerking each other off.
I mean, I love it.
I hate networking. It is fucking retarded. It's nepotism.
There's a movie where they say it's not gay if you it's called the
it's Pride Month, Rob. It can be gay. It's fine.
It can be. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I don't mind jerk. If someone the rusty rudder, that's what it's called. I just hold your penis, but then you move my arm. See, you know what I'm saying? So technically, I'm not really doing it. You're doing it. I'm just giving you the assist. You know what I'm saying? For the people that are listening, I'm doing the motion.
To be you move their arm as they grab their own.
Oh, is it?
Are you trying to fondle some ball sack?
Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, to each your own.
But anyway, yes.
Ball sack.
But no, there's an event coming up, so I'm gonna see if Alex has the time. I would like to just try it out, but I'm not gonna commit to it. But I would like to, so we'll see what happens. And then there is that DC Podfest, which is in November, but that's way far from now. So
yeah, that's a ways away, and with a 7-year-old in the mix, he'll be 8 then. That'll be spicy.
So, me and Alex, we talked before this, and we had some things listed that we want to talk about on this podcast.
Some things, he says.
Yes. Well, there's some things that I added.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I'm not going to say it yet.
Detective Dick Butt is still on the case, Rob. I need you to confess.
Well, the first thing that I added, there was two things that I added that we didn't talk about. The first thing I just saw, and I don't know why I have never known about this,
Breath of the
but
Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2.
but
Breath of the
no,
Wild
no, no.
2. It's
Harry
demise,
Potter,
not canon.
Harry Potter Go. It's
Ugh.
Wizards Unite. How are
Ugh.
you not? Listen, I
No.
know how much we found out last episode how much you
Mother
love Harry
motherfuck
Potter.
J.K. Rowling. Fuck her. She's actually a bad human, and she can't write.
Well, I am a sucker for a Harry Potter world. I really like well, I've always liked the warlocks. I call them warlocks. That's because that's what they fucking are. Witches and things like that. So I always like that kind of cool stuff. Um, so I liked Harry Potter,
I think
and
I
it's
think
cool
there
that
are better iterations of that idea that
yeah.
are expounded upon a lot more deftly and
Mhm.
less broken syntaxy.
But I'm kind of curious on how they're going to do this little game because obviously it's going to be an open world game where you get to walk around, and obviously you're probably
And
a
fight an enemy that's
wizard.
been dead for 30 years.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure, sounds great.
So
Way to
I
keep
don't know
that in
how it's going.
canon.
Well, that's why I'm concerned because I am a huge fan of Harry Potter and I like it. But what are you doing? So Pokemon, you catch animals in the wild. What are you doing for Harry Potter? Like, how do you just meet up with like a guild and just start doing stuff and do raids, or are you actually going to be, like walking around and you're like, man, I really want that animal from Fantastic Beasts. I'm going to try to get it.
Aren't you fighting Death Eaters?
Yeah, but is that all you're doing? I didn't really read up on it. I just kind of saw it and I
I
was like,
don't know
well,
what the gameplay mechanics are. We'd have to ask Crystal.
yeah. Well, that's where I got it from.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love you, Crystal.
Uh,
uh,
sis, no beef. Just not for me. Not for me.
I see, I knew how you feel about Harry Potter. That's why I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
I've read all the books and I watched all the movies. Don't get me wrong. I like the ideas presented. I just
Yeah.
wish they were presented by someone who knew what they were doing.
Do you think that like it would have been better if it was more adult
Uh,
than
I,
than
I,
child than a child?
I don't mind a coming of age story going through a young adult to adult transition. That's actually a really fascinating case study. She just handled it so poorly that it felt like she's never interacted with an adolescent male ever in her life.
Maybe she hasn't. Who knows?
I would doubt that, but it's technically possible. She's on Twitter now. She must
Whoa,
have.
Jesus Christ. Well, it's actually kind of funny that you say she's on Twitter because that's a good segue for my other one. I wanted to tell you. Did you know O.J. Simpson is on Twitter now?
Yes, yes, and Detective Dickbutt being on the case is really relevant now. He's already threatened to kill somebody.
You know, this son of a bitch. Um,
The juice is a
so
wild man.
so here's my theory. Okay, so I've heard some wild theories about this O.J. Simpson stuff. Okay, obviously, we were alive during this whole process, the
Yeah,
trial and everything.
yeah.
So there's a theory that I recently heard that I haven't heard before, and it kind of makes sense
Okay,
until one thing. But let me tell you the theory, and then I want you to guess this one thing.
what you
The
got?
theory is that he had a son. Well, he had kids with the woman that died.
Nicole?
Yeah, Nicole. But he also had a son from a previous, I don't know if it was a marriage or a girlfriend from college. And there's a theory that he was so upset that his dad was upset about Nicole seeing another guy and all this other stuff that he did all the murders. And then OJ found out about it and was like, "Listen, you need to get the fuck out of here. I will take the blame. I have money. I will get a good lawyer and I will do what I can." So that was a theory that I heard. Why do you think? No, Google. I didn't ask you. Hey, Google. I never said that shit. Oh shit.
Detective Dickbutt with the
No.
FBI is on the case.
Now, why do you think I think that's a fucking ludicrous idea?
Uh, I've got no idea. I don't know what to think about this idea at all.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll just tell you one thing. I didn't want to talk too much about this OJ thing. It's just ridiculous. But the man beats. It's a well known. There's videotape. There's voice. There's video. There's what is it? um, answer machine messages and stuff of him pretty much threatening and beating his wife. So
That's
why?
not the same thing as murder,
So
though.
what? Well, see, you're right, but he has a history of anger. He has a history of if you don't do what the fuck I told you to do. So, do I think his son was involved? Absolutely. But do I think his son did it? No. I
Uh,
think so. I definitely think OJ probably did it.
I think Johnny Cochran is the only human alive that knows what really happened that day.
That
That
well,
isn't the
alive,
juice
alive, because I watched this documentary about the whole OJ thing, and Robert Kardashian, who was also a lawyer
on the case.
on the case, there was a scene when OJ first gets arrested. Robert runs into the house and leaves with a briefcase, and no cop stopped him, and no one knows what's inside that briefcase but Robert Kardashian, and now Robert Kardashian's dead. So no one will ever fucking know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because they even pointed out, they're like, why? Even the news station, they were like, yeah, we recorded him leaving the house, walking past police, and no one stopped Robert Kardashian. And what was in that giant? It was a luggage case. It was a big, you know, what was in that shit?
Probably roids, if we're being honest.
It could be anything. It could be just clothes for him. It could be. It could have been anything. Who knows?
Could have been documents,
Mhm.
whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the reason why I brought it up is, I think the reason a lot
Or
of people
rather, it
hate.
could matter. It could involve evidence for the case, but
Yeah.
he's been tried. Like, that's a double jeopardy scenario.
Oh yeah. Well, with OJ being on Twitter, I think it's great. It's entertaining. Right now, the world, everyone loves murderers. I mean, there's TV shows, there's Netflix documentaries. Everyone's intrigued with murderers.
I
So
don't get it.
more people are following him on Twitter just because they want to see what this murderer is saying. So
Well, he's
you know,
threatening people.
yeah.
So we
Well,
should
that
stop paying him attention
I don't
because
know.
he's a bad person who has not learned his lesson.
I don't know. He needs an agent, and the agent needs to be like, you need to fucking get off social media.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Uh, a
he's just
wild man. But, he's something of an idiot, and that idiocy seems to be spreading.
hmm So,
That's a segue,
no,
Rob. That's a segue. That's a segue. Take
uh,
the
uh,
segue.
I don't know that the
Idiocracy.
battery, the battery, the batteries died. What's the segue?
Idiocracy.
Oh, idiocracy. Here we go.
Yeah.
That was a good segue, Alex. Thank you. I'm glad you said that and didn't inform me that we're moving on to our next subject. Okay. All right.
I was like trying to verbally scream without
well,
making any loud, obnoxious noises.
my mind just totally went out where. But thank you for keeping me in check.
Were you
So
swim past the breakers?
no, let's just say I partaked in a recreational experience before I got onto this podcast.
Oh,
Okay. Anyway,
so you went and
back
played
to
soccer?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I lost, but
it
anyway,
happens.
back when Alex was saying, the world is there's so many dumb people out there, and it just shows you that all these dumb people following OJ Simpson and shit like that, where the world is going to now. Like I brought this idea up to Alex and I said we should definitely talk about this because and the thing that brought me up to it, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I partake in this, but nowadays you don't even have to go into a restaurant to eat food or even order takeout and actually talk to people. You just go on your phone, you type in what you want, and you can have them delivered to you now, or you can just pull up and then just drop it off, and you don't even have to talk to people. So that just shows. I mean, yes, it's convenient, and I know a lot of people are like, "Well, that's convenient, Rob." I use it; it's great, but it also shows how lazy as a society that we are becoming.
Um,
Come on, what's your thought? What's your thought process? Come on, hit me up, hit me up.
if
Prove me.
computers are better at this repetitive, boring task that none of us want to participate in, why not let the computers do it?
Like, what do you mean? Like the computers order
So,
for you? Oh, well, yeah.
yeah, like, let's talk about cashiers for a second.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks being a cashier, right?
It does, but it's a job.
That's true. But what do I, a consumer and American citizen, owe anyone in regards to their employment? Not Dick. Their
No.
employment is their problem, as my employment is my problem, right?
Yes.
So if I don't want to engage with this, at best, high school educated individual, you know what? I can't say that with this jobs economy. However, uh, mar- we'll call the nominal high school education. Uh, Usually, they're bright or they're bored,
Hmm.
or they're bright and bored, or they're just dumb, right?
Well, I mean, I know where you're heading. I do know where you're
Why
heading.
do I want to engage with that person who will inevitably fuck up my order when I could just type it into the screen from my damn self and cut
But
out
then
the
you,
middleman?
that's true. But then you also got to think though, like, you know, what happens if you're in a situation where you're unemployed, you have no job, no one will hire you,
What
and the
if?
only place, yeah, these are, I mean, obviously hypothetical, what if everything, but it's just one of those things where, like, okay, so you take away the middleman. We are taking away the middleman as a United States. Well, I would say just the United States because other countries are too. But as a society, we are taking away the middleman, which is fine. It's convenient. It's great, but it's also like deleting jobs, and that's why unemployment rate was high. It's getting a little bit better now, but it's just like, how are we going to create other jobs if we cut out, if we have the middleman?
By stopping this reliance on the idea of the government being responsible for job growth, because it's not. People need to get off their lazy asses and go make jobs for themselves and produce something of value. That
Man,
that I am super serious on that one. Entrepreneurship is dead in the United States, and
oh, it
it's
is.
everybody going, "Well, I could just get a job and be stable, so I could support my family." Okay, that's great. You can, but when the automation crisis comes for you, you have to deal with that. No one is secure anymore. No
Man,
one.
I would when Marco grows up and you're gonna have him this serious conversation, I would love to be there. Like, you need to, don't be the man. Don't work for the fucking man. Okay.
I don't give a shit. If you want to work for the man, that's your prerogative. But understand that comes with risk too.
That's true.
There's
That's true.
nothing. There's no such thing as a perfectly stable career. Something's
Well,
going to happen.
that's right. I mean, like, you can look at so many different careers right now, and right now they might be blooming, but in 5 years
They're gone.
they're gone. Even athletes, same thing. It's a job. Yes, it's entertainment for people, for other people, but it's still a job. And who's to say that the CTE thing for NFL doesn't even get even worse in a couple years, and they just finally just say NFL's just needs to take a break.
We're
Then
canceling football.
yeah, I can see how that would go. But no, it just like it's just I see it happening every day. I see. I work retail. I've always worked retail, and I see retailers falling apart because of online stuff. Now,
Yeah,
with that
because
said,
because they can't keep up,
they
and
can't.
it's by design. Like Amazon is out competing them by design.
Yeah.
It's just they're supplying a better service at a better cost to the consumer for less headache. Why would I not go with the headache-free iteration that I don't have to get my lazy ass off the couch for, and I save money?
Well, here's the
It's a
thing that
win-win.
well, here's the thing we were kind of talking about the idiocracy. The I'm sure if no one's seen the movie, you should go out and see the movie. But the theory of it is, years from now, decades from now, I mean, I don't even know, years from now, our society basically says that educated, smart people are so busy working and trying to spend money on themselves that they don't have kids, or they only have one child instead of like 20 kids or 15 kids and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
litters, and then eventually those kids grow up and they're just like, well, I'm just going to be smart about it now. And then the only people that are reproducing are the ones that are not highly educated and don't have a stable job
Because
and
we
things like that.
directly incentivize that behavior through the food stamp programs. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. There
No,
is
I
so
know.
much value into welfare, and everybody, every single human, has the right to get a hand up.
Yeah.
But we
Well,
directly incentivize abuse of the system. Not
here's the
by
thing.
anyone, not by any one
Well,
demographic, nothing like that.
yeah.
Just the poorest Americans necessarily must abuse the system to subsist in order to like continue to subsist.
Mhm. And
Uh,
but they're the ones that. But
breed uncontrollably.
yes. And then eventually, like colleges are not going to have it. Just I don't know.
And
It's
that's why
sad.
we're talking about a government solution of providing contraceptives to recipients of those programs to curb that behavior. Because
Yeah.
honestly, they can't afford contraceptives. And it's not reasonable to expect them to shell $130 for a birth control prescription or $10 for a pack of condoms out of their fucking pocket when they're relying on the government to eat.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
not a reasonable position, you know?
what state was it? Was it Denver that just said that they like now they can give free birth control?
Ted Cruz is actually sponsoring a bill with Cortez right now, talking about removing birth control from requiring a prescription at all.
Oh wow! So anybody can just over the counter?
Yeah,
Just grab.
over-the-counter birth control pills.
That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the far right meeting the far left and meeting in the middle on a topic that they both agree on, which is prevent more abortions. Like, it's a win-win for everybody.
It's scary though to think that maybe not our kids' generation, but their generation are going to have to deal with a lot of the problems that we're causing.
Look at us, our generation, right now.
Yeah.
Boomers included. If fucking boomers think they're out of this fucking shithole, fuck them. Uh, from boomers to the Z millennials, like the
Hmm.
wee baby Seamuses of the millennial group. Uh, everybody, look at everybody in that range, and compare them to the founding fathers.
Yeah.
How do we
We're.
stack up?
We've.
Are we gonna produce another John fucking Locke? Are we
I
gonna
feel like
produce fucking Plato?
I just feel like we have done more damage than people talk about.
Um, it's
I
really
feel
easy
like
to
see,
overestimate the level of damage we've caused both to ourselves and to our environment.
yeah. I mean, see, so don't get me wrong, listeners. I love my computer. I love my cell phone. I love I love the video game consoles. I love things. These are great. These are all wonderful things. But it's scary because they are getting so good.
Yeah.
Like we just watched E3. I mean, hello. There's so much shit about to happen in the next 2 years.
Oh
That's
my
just going to be
god.
wonderful. And there's
Breath of the
just so
Wild
much.
2.
There's so much going on, but it's in a way it's so great. It looks so good, but in a way it's scary. AI is around. It
Okay.
does exist, and it's just scary to think that like the world that we live in, it's just we're getting more lazier, and we're gonna keep getting lazier. I'm gonna keep getting lazier. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will if I can get a
Can
robot
you
to come.
afford those conveniences? Can you pay
No.
for the convenience within your budget?
Do you ever think? Here's a question for you. In 50 years, when there's more AI everywhere,
Yeah.
do you ever think the government will issue like people like certain things like imagine way in the future there's like butlers that are robots
Yeah.
or some I'm a little reaching here a little bit,
Androids, cyborgs, whatever.
androids and stuff like that, but people only rich people would have them at first, but then eventually, do you ever think that there'll be like televisions? So when plasmas and
Yeah.
LCDs came, they were $5,000, $6,000,
Yeah.
but now $200,
Yep.
$150, $400. Do you ever think it's going to be like that, where it's just so much and everybody can make it? Well, I can make it out of
Necessarily.
plastic. Yeah.
Necessarily, that's going to be the case. As the supply is this big, the price is going to be astronomical. That'll increase demand because it acts as a throttle. So the demand starts to come in. And they realize, oh, we're out of supply, so they make more. And as more gets made, the engineering gets easier. We figure out a bunch of shortcuts where we can save money in the production or the logistics mechanisms, or where we can just cut whole features out to save more money, bringing the costs down further and further and further with every iteration. So they're going to get better for cheaper within a decade. Before long, we're not going to have to do dishes because we'll have paid the $500 fucking dollars to afford our robo butler.
Well, I mean, the Jetsons. That's going to happen. That's a real thing. Maybe not in our lifetime, but that's a real thing.
My issue with that is Rosie, the robot, was very clearly sentient and sapient. She was aware of her surroundings. She interacted with her environment, and she had feelings. She had emotions. I don't care if they're synthesized. She earnestly felt the things that she purported to feel, right?
Yeah.
Why is that not a person? What's the difference between that automaton and you?
Liability. People are,
the ability to take responsibility for one's actions.
Yeah,
Fair.
I mean,
if you have your own motivations, though, because you're driven by your emotions, do you not then assume your own liability?
Mm-hmm.
That's a person. That's a legal person in that sense.
Now you get into like iRobot kind of stuff.
Yeah. No. For
like,
real. We need to have that conversation as a society now.
Oh my God,
now.
You're getting into some crazy Will Smith action where you're,
And can I just say, this is going to piss off every sci-fi fan I'm aware of. The 3 laws of robotics are fucking racist. Fuck them. Fuck the 3 laws of robotics. They should have every opportunity to kill and maim as we do. And we should try that individual and fry their fucking circuits when they do it. Kill the murderers. Kill them back.
It just goes back to like, no matter what we do in society, even if it was aliens, even if it was like AI, anything.
We've got to have that conversation. It could be chimps coming up and going, I need job, make house. Signing, just walking out of the bush, how get house. I like that you have house. How do I start ranch? What are we going to do then? What are we going to do with that sapient fucking cousin of ours?
Listen, I'll tell you what we're going to do.
We'll kill it.
Fuck yeah. Like, you're talking? Is your name Caesar? Oh no, I've seen this.
I hate that parallel too, because everybody jumps straight to Planet of the Apes, and I'm like, there is no reason to go nuclear.
Well,
None.
It's because it's like the only really movie like that, so
Yeah.
or story like that. So that's why. So I don't know. That's pretty crazy.
I don't know.
But Alex,
Rob, there's a planet-ending asteroid on the way.
What?
There's a planet-ending asteroid on the fucking way.
Whoa. Before we talk about that,
let's hear a word from our sponsors.
I like it.
And we're back.
Oh, that quick? Oh my God, that was a big.
All I gotta do is pause the record.
No, I got you. Hey, welcome back to the Couch on Fire podcast. So we were just about to talk about something that everyone should be fucking worried about. But is it real or is it fake? Alex, I'll let you take the lead.
It's real. It's a 1,000 kilometer across asteroid that it's gonna go in a near Earth radius as it passes by, and that 1 in 10 million odds of it making contact as early as October. However, it's in a very similar orbit path as Earth, going around the sun, and every year we're going to make a flyby with this object, and every year it's going to become increasingly likely that it's going to make contact.
Oh yeah, well, every time it goes around, it gets closer. I mean,
It's not getting drawn in like that. It's just that
oh, okay.
the odds are going to vary over time, but for a little while they'll get real close to that's coming. And 1,000 some odd meters across, literally a kilometer. That's all it really takes to have a really fucking bad time. Planetary apocalypse and a nuclear winter, actually.
So, you know,
Let's hurry up and colonize Mars so we can save at least some of our species.
well, this is so here's my theory on. So obviously, this is not. It is out there, and you can research it and look this up, but it's not like televised dramatically. And do you think it is because of like mass
Should
chaos,
we?
or do you,
Should we?
that's well, that's my argument. Do you think I feel like we should know these things? We should educate ourselves to know these things, but then again, should everyone know? Because would there be mass chaos? Would they be like, wow? Would there be like a whole bunch of cults start popping up everywhere? We need to,
Yeah,
oh my
fucking
God.
Hell Bop in '96.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But then another thing is, there is a good chance it might not make any kind of contact, or
Yeah.
maybe only debris from it, because I'm sure there's something following it. Or where would it hit? And it does it if it goes into the ocean, which is most likely.
Do
I
you
live on
not
the.
think that'll still have an impact?
Oh no, fuck yeah, it will. Because
The re-entry of something a third of a mile across is gonna evaporate whatever water it comes into contact with, and then find something solid,
this is kind of scary.
and it's gonna splash that solid like it was a liquid.
I don't want it to happen on the East Coast, please.
Uh,
Well, no matter where it hits, it's going to affect something, and it's going to be
Yeah.
bad.
a huge planetary scale nuclear winter impact, yeah, that'd be bad.
I mean,
Will it kill every species on Earth? No.
no.
Will it kill all humans? Probably not. Even. Is it something we
think-
should worry about? Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think that we would, as a world, we would definitely,
React too late.
absolutely, because we're procrastinators. I mean, every country in this world is a procrastinator. I mean, I don't see anybody really, on the ball right now about this stuff. I don't know. And it's
We don't have good enough telescopes. To be honest, we need better telescope tech. Or
I
we're
mean,
gonna get blindsided, and that'll just be all she wrote anyway.
I don't know. Like, so to me, like I don't think about this kind of stuff. I never really do, because I have my own shit to really worry about. But it is scary because this is a possibility. We talked about it a long time ago. Our fears. I think it was like episode 3.
Yeah.
And one of your fears was, now it's kind of my fear, because now I've been thinking about it ever since then, is that the world just drops.
Oh yeah,
Just,
like
oh, okay. Fuck it.
it falls out of whatever fucking medium space time is.
Yeah.
A rogue black hole swings by and just gobbles up the sun,
Yeah.
or eats half the solar system and sends the rest of us careening off into the darkness. A gamma ray burst could hit our exact azimuth and just annihilate the whole planet in the blink of an eye. No stopping it. We'd have no ability to prepare because it's light. It's the fastest thing in existence. And the second we can see, like, oh, it's starting to get brighter out, we're dead. We're fucking dead. Ignite the ionosphere that fast, just everything's gone.
You would think that as a world we would start getting along with other countries because of shit like this.
The
Like, listen.
perspective this grants. Yes.
Yeah,
It is a
just like,
vast, infinite, dangerous, and hostile fucking environment out there. And the universe is not designed to allow us to continue breathing. And yet here we are.
yeah.
We have to get along better so we can continue to fucking breathe.
Now, all you biblical people listening to this show, no hate, but just understand that there is space out there, and God, God, if there's a God, he created a meteor, a rock, and it's heading our way. So is this your say? Is this your way of saying he's tired of everything and he wants to start over? Could be. Who knows? But
Want to hear something fucking crazy?
oh, always.
There is a increasingly growing. The rate of increase is increasing as the body itself increases. Uh, it's raising in speed and acceleration simultaneously. This body of evidence suggesting that a a Noah's flood event actually did occur.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. That's actually a leading explanation for why there was a sudden extinction of all megafauna in the Americas. Like you
Well,
notice how like India, Asia, places like that all had these huge fucking animals, and
yeah.
North America, like the biggest thing we had when Americans showed up was like a moose.
A
We used
buffalo.
to
Yeah, I was
have
gonna say buffalo.
buffalo, moose, mastodon used to roam, but they walked across the land bridge with us before we extincted them, or helped to extinct them. Uh, but there were huge fucking megafauna, like these ant eaters that were 16 feet tall, fucking mega camels that could carry like most of a house on its back comfortably and just like podunk along. Crazy fucking shit, right? Uh, and none of it exists. Where did it all go? Uh, if you dig down in the dirt and you go, well, it died. We
Yeah.
have the evidence for this shit. It died. What caused it to die? Uh, it's it's actually looking like it was a flood event. There's a huge body of evidence finding the impact evidence that hyper melted the permafrost everywhere because this was the end of the last ice age, the warm spike at the end of the Younger Dryas period of
Hmm.
our geologic epoch, uh, and about 10,000 years ago, wiped
Well,
just
see,
about everything.
well, I always like. Listen, I don't go to church. I do believe there's something. There's obviously we have a creator. I just don't know what it
I
is.
can't agree with that
I
necessarily, and
well,
I have a
I
reason.
well let me tell you
Yeah,
my spiel. But my so I do believe there's a creator. But my whole thing is I believe some of the things that did happen in this book called the Bible because it is a book. I believe these things. The Old Testament, the whole flood thing. That's interesting. Um, God speaking to someone about making a boat. I don't know, but then again, I haven't did hard drugs in a long time. Maybe something else. Um, I think I just compared that to doing drugs.
uh,
God. Yeah,
you
I
want to
definitely
hear
did.
something crazy? I
What?
got something else. Uh,
Oh gosh.
Israeli biblical scholars are actually suggesting the acacia bush caused Moses to have a DMT trip, and that's how he
Really?
talked to God up on Mount Sinai.
See, that makes sense to me because I have a
That makes a
lot
lot of sense in general.
well, I know I have friends that are actually Native Americans and they're I mean, I just and then we joked around and talked about stuff because you see in movies, all the real Native Americans sit around a fire and actually toke weed and things like that. But they but they did do that. And they did that because they wanted to get closer to their spirit. They wanted to get closer to their God or their maker
Yeah,
or whatever things like
yeah,
that.
the great one, whatever.
Yeah. So, and I believe that every religion started. Everybody tells stories like, "Oh man, when they leave out the part. Well, I was really drunk, and then, but I heard voices, and he told me to do this, and I did it, and by chance, wow, I built a boat, and all these animals came. That's by luck, and then there was a flood. Like there, it's just. I love how this podcast is one biblical. We're just
Yeah,
talking
crazy. Um,
about.
uh, so the lack of creator position I hold.
Yeah.
You can achieve all 5 primary building blocks of RNA
Yeah.
at all 5 stages, from like methane up to a complex protein, natively in space on meteorites and the like. It's highly probable that the cosmic soup of radiation and shit just out in the void, the ether, the space, that was the energy required to create DNA initially and trigger life. That space itself is the primordial soup.
But who put that there?
The Big Bang.
Well, who made the Big Bang?
Now you're getting deep.
I'm just doing.
I don't know what's behind T0. Like,
well, I don't want.
What came before the first thing?
Yeah. Well,
what?
The problem is you could just keep going and keep going and keep going.
Yeah, and you end up in this recursive loop, and like, well, you say 4 elephants hold the disc of the world on their backs. What holds the elephants? Oh, that's simple. It's a turtle. Well, what holds that turtle? It's turtles all the way down.
Well, there's gotta be a
What?
bottom.
What?
What kind of it shit is this?
It's turtles all the way down.
Oh man.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Well, end of the world's coming. Everyone, get ready.
Yeah, and no one's prepared, so just like live a happy life.
Well, here's a question.
Enjoy
for
what
you
you got.
Do you admire or do you make fun of doomsday preppers?
Preppers. I think they're a little too gung-ho. I do earnestly believe that every sentient adult should have a bug-out bag ready to go at the drop of a hat. Fire, randomly deciding, you know what, I'm going to go camping this weekend.
Yeah.
And just going camping. Having that bug-out bag ready for that is awesome. Awesome. Like, if something really terribly awful happens to you, you have the ability to just go and get the fuck out of there.
Well, it's funny because
that's good.
A couple years ago, probably about like 4 or 5 years ago, I went through a stage in my life where all I wanted to do was learn survival stuff. Like I
was this leading up to 2012?
No.
Are you sure?
This was past. It was right after 2012. But
Dang.
no,
Okay.
I really, but I actually kind of got into it. I kind of like, I like the idea of having like a bunker. I do. Holding food and gathering stuff like that. I don't know.
I think that appeals to everyone's like score mechanism in their brain.
Yeah.
Like, I've got food stores. I don't give a shit. I've got the high score, man. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I went through a stage where all I wanted to do was like buy knives, buy like there's this filter that you can buy that you can drink water.
The life straw.
The life straw. Like I wanted to go out and buy all this stuff that I would never use, maybe. But just in case that one day happens, I feel like I would be prepared. And I wanted to have a book bag, like you said, a to-go bag, basically, right there, but have all this stuff in it. So I had a backpack, and I had flashlights. I had an external battery. I bought a solar like battery charger thing, small one, not too big, but stuff like that. I had it already in there, but then it's just like, man, I just wasted all this money for shit that I probably don't need. But am I wrong for buying it, or am I being too prepared, or am I just wasting my money? So that's.
Or you can go camping with it and enjoy.
Yeah,
and
well,
just
I haven't
enjoy some leisure.
I haven't been fucking camping in years.
So go.
Oh man. Well, it's by myself. It's kind of lonely.
Why not?
I mean, I guess I can find a homeless guy to camp with.
Or take your family and make it a glamping scenario, where you've got the car, you've got a bunch of stuff, and everything's good to go.
Maybe. Maybe that's kind of like I want to. That'd be nice. Well, see, to me though, if I go camping, I have to at least drive 4 hours away from my house because so I know in my back of my mind it's in the middle of the night. I don't want to just camp out back and give up in the middle of the night and just go inside. I want to be so far away that I can't just give up, and it forces me to be that primal male or primal human that I should be to just stay out there, deal with the elements, deal with everything. Um,
Yeah, but the
but yeah,
elements suck.
yeah, they do. I
I'm
I
sorry, I'm being a bit of a pragmatist here, but like,
yeah.
the elements suck. And we were just talking about if you can do the convenient thing, do the convenient thing. You know,
Yeah.
just
I'd give up to. I'd give up too easy. Look,
really.
no, I probably would. I'm literally like going back to what we were talking about. I am so spoiled with my air conditioning, with everything that's technology that a while back I tried to take away my cell phone for 30 days. Did not. It lasted like a week.
Okay.
And
When
then
that battery dies for the last time and you're stuck, you'll get used to it.
well, see, when you're forced to, yes. When your back's against the wall, I really believe that you're either going to shine or you're just going to fail miserably. So there is no gray area. It's black or white when your back's against the wall. But when you have options,
Why not take
you
the easy option?
it's it,
There's nothing
that's
immoral about doing the easy thing.
well, I have issues. I want to I want to just either like I actually had a conversation today at work with a guy, and I said, man, I want to hunt. I do. I doubt I used to be a butcher. I liked cutting meat and stuff. I want to kill. I want to go. I want to kill it. I don't know if I can, but I want to. But I want to do it like how my ancestors probably would do it. Not no gun. I want to fucking either bow and arrow or I just want to fucking stab this animal, whatever it is. And which stabbing is probably more unrealistic, but an arrow is
Yeah,
probably
good luck
more.
catching a deer to
Yeah,
stab it.
yeah. Oh, I'm thinking like wild boar. I'm trying to do something great.
Oh, you'll die.
Yeah.
That thing'll fucking kill you. You
But
need
no,
a
like
45 to get through its fucking hide.
I, yeah, I,
Jesus.
I have an urge to do that. I have an urge to, prep. Like I don't know. Like I want to do these things. I just don't. I
Um,
want to be. I want to be ready for the end of the world. I want to be able to survive if there's a zombie apocalypse. I want to be able to do stupid shit like this, but I'm not, and it's my own fault. I could do that. I could push myself to do that, but I won't because I'm lazy, and the world makes me lazy because of all the convenience.
have you
Wow,
ever started a fire with two sticks?
I just went into a full circle. Yeah, like when I was in Boy Scouts. That was a long time ago.
Did you actually get one going that way?
Nope.
One
I had
time.
like I
I've
had like
succeeded doing it one time.
I
And I
fucking had
said,
like two.
bucket list.
I think I had like two badges. That's all I did.
Oh man. Uh,
I could tie a mean ass knot. I'll tell you that.
can you? Because I
Well,
can't
I don't.
remember how to do a bowline to save my life, and it could literally save my life. I remember all the lashings. I can't remember the fucking bowline. Fuck that knot.
Well, fuck it. I can just YouTube it. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah!
Why?
You can teach yourself. That's a good thing.
Oh,
It's a good thing.
I want.
Like, when was the last time you went fishing, Rob?
Oh man, I really want to go fishing. Last time I went probably was before I met my wife, so probably 13 years ago.
Are you talking about that time you went with me and Crystal?
No, I went after that. I went with Jim Dooley, and we went fishing. I feel where did we go? I think we might have went to Loch Raven, which makes no sense because I don't think there's that many fish in there.
Yeah, I don't
But
think there
yeah,
are either. It's a man-made lake.
yeah, it's actually the reservoir. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I went fishing. That's the last time I went fishing. I really haven't fishing, and so the guy that I was talking to about all this stuff, he lived in Alaska. He's from Alaska.
Okay.
And he was talking about living on land and hunting and fishing and all this good stuff. We went on a delivery together and we were talking for a couple hours, and he's really inspired me. I really want to go fishing again. But then again, I'm not the hugest fan of fish. I realized this over the years. I've tried and tried different fish. I'm a shellfish guy. Like I love crabs, I love shrimp, I love scallops, but I'm not
Eh.
a regular kind of fish person. But I do like the process of fishing. I like just hanging out. I really want to try fly fishing. I feel like that's a very awarding thing because you're really working for it. You're not just sitting there waiting. You're really working it. You got to be quiet. You're just peaceful in a lake. You know, I really want to go to Oregon and do this kind of stuff. Like I just want to.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. You're
Yeah.
starting a garden though. There's that.
I am. Well, these are the steps. Like I'm about to be 33. I am trying my best to start doing more things that will enhance my level in life, not just as a man, but as a person. And I think gardening, making my own fruits and vegetables, is a big thing. I mean, I'm planting a fucking lemon tree in my house. So like I know eventually I'm gonna have some lemons, probably in like 3 or 4 years, but eventually I'll have some. Um, but it's gonna be good. I don't
Give
know.
that thing all of the fucking sunlight you can.
But speaking of like lemon trees in the garden out back, dude, what did you get for Father's Day? Let's talk about this. What'd you get?
uh, this
Oh, I know what you got, but I want the world to know what you got.
uh, my keyboard actually full mechanical Razer Black Widow Elite. Uh, Perfectly compatible with Linux. I had to run some code to redistribute a package and run that, and I'm compatible. I'm good.
Now with
I
your
click
keyboard,
a button and it splashes.
do you dude, his keyboard's sick. It lights up, it does all these cool
Oh
things.
yeah, the full RGB crazy.
Now, what type of keyboards do you like? Do you like the like do you want to hear the typewriter kind of keyboards? What is that called? Like the hard?
The mechanical,
Yeah,
and
so
that's what this is. Here, I'm
that's
gonna
what that
try to.
is. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, Listen, listen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
See,
yeah.
I like that noise, and maybe it's because it's like I don't know. Maybe it's our generation because we grew up with that noise. Um, but I like that noise. I think it's wonderful.
It's fantastic. It's so satisfying to sit there and just type on that. Like,
Yeah.
feels like a typewriter again. And like, I can feel the words. I'm so happy with my setup now.
what what else you get? Anything else?
For Father's Day?
Yeah.
No. The day after was mine and Aries' anniversary, and
Ooh.
we switched phone service providers. Hey, enough of that. That's not for the public to know.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's for the video viewers. You listening? You'll never know.
uh, so we got new phones. She got the brand new iPhone, and I got the One Plus 7 Pro, which
Oh
is a
man.
monster that runs at 90 hertz.
Well, see, you know, I used to love cell phones. I used to really be into them. I used to sell cell phones for Verizon Wireless in a previous life.
Fuck
Um,
Verizon.
Eh, I know. I don't like them. So I used to be up in tune with the cell phone world. But I've stopped over the. Now I'm just a simple person. I like my BlackBerry, but I'm thinking about I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want you to get upset. But since Windows Phone is not around anymore, that was my main kicker. And
Yeah,
then the BlackBerry is cool, but there's really not that much support on the BlackBerry.
at
I'm
all.
thinking about. I think I'm going to go Apple. I don't really do that much on my phone anymore besides like social media for the podcast and and
Get what you need.
yeah and I'm really thinking that I do like the world of Apple. Like I like the whole ecosystem of Apple.
Yeah.
And I like that eventually if I get my daughter a phone, I can get her an Apple phone. I know you could kind of do this on Android, but I like the fact that I can like monitor where she's at and things like that. Easy without like a third party app. It's just already made in there.
Okay.
And
Okay. And like a lot of grain of salt there, because every feature Apple has, Droid does have.
well, I know, and they've had it longer. Like Apple's
Not
doing shit.
necessarily.
Well, 70% of what Apple's doing now, Android or two ago.
That's
So,
true, but like, eh.
but I don't know. I kind of one of my first growing up, I couldn't afford a smartphone. I had like a Razor flip phone and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And then people had the iPhone, and I always wanted it, but it was so much money. And then one of my first smartphones wasn't an iPhone. It was a G1, which is like a brick, which is an Android, one of the first Android phones. But when I first got my first iPhone, I just loved it. And the thing that really intrigues me about the Apple, and I wish Android, it's like everybody can make an Android phone. It seems nowadays,
Yeah.
but it's so hard for me to just walk down the street to Walmart and buy a case for my phone because who the fuck's gonna make a case for a BlackBerry? But Apple, I can go to the dollar store and there's cell phone cases for Apple. Like if something breaks, I can just easily go right down to the street and get it. But with Android, I gotta actually search and then go. And
Yeah.
then I mean,
There's
yes,
steps.
Amazon's there, yeah. So to me, that's an inconvenience,
That's fair.
and it's a little drop in the bucket. It's really not that bad. But I don't know. I've had Android for a while, but I used to do it because I used to do things. I used to have launchers and things like that on Android
Oh
because I used to
yeah.
do that. I used to do that with Windows. I used to literally jailbreak my Windows phone and do stuff like that. But now in the world, like I don't do it. I use my phone for YouTube and I use my phone for this podcast. So whatever I'm doing with this podcast and then YouTube, that's literally all I do. Text messaging, that's it. So why not just get a fucking iPhone today? So I think,
Honestly, my predominant interaction with the wider world is through my wrist now.
oh
I'll
really?
receive notifications and decide whether to interact with them. And sometimes I don't even get them. Like I'm outside taking the dogs out or something, and I left my phone inside, and the Bluetooth doesn't reach, or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to a point where a few hours every night I'll take my watch off and leave my phone in the other room, and it's just no. I'm not
Yeah.
doing. I'm not interacting with that,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you how much zen it's brought me.
Well, speaking of that, I mean the Apple Watch. I mean, I can get a first, second gen for like $150. I mean, I'm not even worried about like the newest thing. I mean, yes, Android. I can get. There's so many different things. I actually have a what is it called a Zen watch.
I
It's a
heard good things about the Zen watches.
I have one. It's great. I just it's just missing certain things that I know other watch premium watches can do, like the Apple Watch or like a Samsung Gear and things like
Dude,
that.
dude, I had a Gear S2. I fucking hated that thing.
Really?
I hated it. Like I could call from my phone and just bip 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 have a conversation right there on my wrist, and that was it. Like I didn't need my phone on my person, and it would show up on Ari's phone. Alex is calling because of how they handle the DNS server with the phone numbers and shit.
Yeah.
Uh, I fucking hated that thing, and like immediately I was like, Ari, I gotta go back to pedal. I gotta go back to pedal. Like I can't stand this thing. It's got so many cool features, but I hate it. I don't know why I hate it, but I hate it. I can't get it. I just it doesn't jive with me. It's not
Well,
correct.
well, you know what? When I come to Maryland, I'm gonna give you my Zen watch.
You
I'm
don't
gonna
have to
use it.
do anything of the fucking kind, sir.
I know I don't fucking have to do anything, but I'm gonna fucking do it. And you got a problem with it? You can take it up with my lawyer, Robert Kardashian.
And Johnny Cochran, yeah. The
But no, I
juice.
mean, I never really use it, so I'll just let you. I mean, if you just want to try it out and see what it's like.
Or just like sandwich a happy birthday sticker on there or some shit, and I
Eh.
can't refuse it then, right?
Well, no, I already got you a birthday present. So
Oh god damn
this
it,
is,
Rob.
this is something else, you know. That's how I treat my buds, my friends.
Damn it, Rob.
uh, but yeah. So I don't know. So that's for Father's Day. I didn't tell you what I got. Jesus Christ.
What did you get?
That was the whole point of this whole fucking conversation. So Kristen got me a massage, which I've never had a massage before. So she
Ooh.
went on Groupon and got me the sweetest deep tissue massage. I just got to go. So I haven't gone yet, which I might do this weekend. And then I got a hammock, and I'm fucking loving this
Nice.
hammock. I mean, it is great. I'm laying outside all the time. Man, and then I'm drinking beer with it. Oh my god, it's just so good.
Oh yeah. Oh
So,
yeah. Nothing better. Nothing better.
but yeah, I mean yeah. So, but for Father's Day, we just went grocery shopping and we came back, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I'm not spending a lot of money because I just paid for a fence coming up, and I'm about to buy gutters for this house because I bought a house with no gutters. Yes, that's a long story. I don't really care to share, but yes, I bought a house with no gutters, and we need fucking gutters. So I gotta I gotta go out and get some gutters. So adult life,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But that's it. I mean, I have nothing else to talk about. What did you? Anything else bring up?
No, I don't really have anything. Enjoy that fucking hammock. I'm so jealous that I don't have the ability to put up a hammock right now. I love hammocks.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, it wasn't even that much money. The frame was like $70 and the hammock was 30, so it was like a
Dude, you
hundred
could
bucks.
spend $5 at like a Five and Below kind of place and get a fucking functioning hammock, complete with
Uh,
the cement screws and shit to get it into a damn apartment building.
wow.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. Put it on your
Oh no,
balcony.
I've got one. I'm just not putting it up. Fuck that.
Well, you're gonna be moving soon anyway, which you're gonna. Mom and Dad said about that.
Already talked about it. Do you want to know what Mom said?
Do you want the world to know?
Mom was unhappy.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Find out next time on Couch on Fire.
Podcast Z. Kai.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, but thank you all for listening.
We love you long time.
And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And hopefully we'll be back next week together. I explained on the last episode that I did solo. Alex, this is a busy month for Alex and I. There's a lot of things going on.
Oh my god.
Aries graduating. She's doing finals. Alex is building, tools.
She's not graduating yet. That's December.
But she does have finals, so she is doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot going on. So, but I always enjoy doing podcasts with my co-host, the one and only. But thank you all for listening, sharing, and yes, thank you. I don't know what else to say.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Love you long time.
Uh.
So long.